You'll notice that when you cut the two ends off of this one, you get a curious outcome. You still have this interesting skin that's left on the onion. And in most circumstances, you're going to cut it down the middle, so you'll be able to get rid of it. One of the easiest ways to get rid of this is you take your knife and barely insert it across the edge of your onion. There'll be that tiny, tiny blade cut all the way down, and that will give you the opportunity to just remove the skin without actually piercing one of the very first layers, which is fantastic. So this gives you the option to get rid of exactly what you want to without wasting any of the onion. We're going to take our onion, and from standing up, we're going to lay it on its side. Remember to cut with your knuckles for safety, and choose the thickness of what you want to cut your rondelles. You'll get halfway down. And so here we'll notice that we have a layer. We have an actual layer of the onion. But from the layer, and due to it being layered inside of itself, we get these really beautiful rondelles of onion. So the core you're not going to get much out of, but you get all the way down into here, which is fantastic. All the way down into this small end where you get the smallest little rondelle. So as we pull out our onions for cutting, remember just to wipe them off. You want them to be as dry as possible when you get on the cutting board. We have a half moon of a beautiful onion. It's been soaking in our water to make sure that we remove the impurities and it doesn't burn our eyes. And now we're going to show you slices of this onion. So you're going to take your blade, holding it firmly as always, and I'm going to tilt this a little bit, guys, so you guys can see this a little bit better. But you're going to use your knuckles to just make drawing motions on your onion. Some of these cuts, and I'll show you in just a second, are absolutely super, super thin. What? Beautifully thin. Just absolutely get down in there and make them so they're barely anything on there. The reason for those things would be like really beautiful sauteed onions. And if you're making onion soup, French onion soup, you would love thin onions like this, or you can get a little thicker, right? Choose your thickness for what you're cooking for. So if you're making steak and onions, you're going to want something just a little bit thicker, right? It's going to hold up while you're sauteing it. This is the kind of cut you're going to make for that. All right, so we've gone through rondelles, and then we went through slicing. Now we're going to go to what I think is the most versatile cut of an onion, and that's mincing. Mincing is going to create small textural onions that you can use for garnishes. Many dishes call for minced onion, and sometimes it's even better to substitute minced onion for other things because they break down and cook down to size and are almost unnoticeable in many dishes if you have a family member or a friend that doesn't necessarily enjoy eating onions themselves. If you're making homemade chili or you're making menudo, something like that would oftentimes need a raw onion garnish, and then this would be the perfect cut for it. You're going to hold your blade in a very similar pattern. I slide this to the edge of my cutting board. The reason that I do that is so I can get parallel to my cutting board with my knife. I use my hand flat on top of the onion. When I get in here, now make sure while you're cutting this, you do not want your knife to pierce this end. Okay, so you're coming from the right side to the left side, or if you're left-handed, the left side to the right side. But you're not piercing the opposite side that you cut to. You'll go up a little bit, you'll make another incision, and slice us sideways again without piercing the onion. And you'll do this as many times as the size you want for your mincing. The more times you insert your blade parallel to the cutting board, the smaller your mincing will be. Now we have 3 or 4 slices up the onion, as you guys can see right here. Up the onion this way. Now the next step, what we're going to do is we're going to take the onion, and from the exact same insert side, we're going to make small cuts from the top down through the onion. Now we have cuts down, we have cuts sideways, and this gives us an interlying grid pattern inside the onion. Now all you have to do is do the same thing you would while you were slicing the onion and break the onion down. You'll cut all the way to the point of which you inserted your knife into the onion, and you'll finish the rest of the onion so. And as you guys can see, it's really beautiful and small. What? This is the minced onion. Like I said, I think the most versatile cut in the entire onion cutting kingdom.